Here's a guy who has 7 failed proofs of the existence of God.
Proof 1. Creation demands a creator.
How do you know the universe is a creation? You're skipping a step in the argument. If you want to use the fact that creation demands a creator, you have to first establish that the universe is in fact a creation.
We live in an incredible universe, in an incredible galaxy, in an incredible solar system, on an incredible planet, in our incredible human bodies, with our incredible human minds. It's foolish to think all of this is by accident.
Atheists don't necessarily believe it's by accident. Most seem to believe that they are a product of the laws of physics.
In fact, the famous British mathematician Roger Penrose, a colleague of Stephen Hawking, calculated the odds of a universe like ours coming into existence by chance alone are 1 in 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 123.
That's based on the different parameters that we can imagine the universe having. The mere fact that we can imagine the universe having different parameters is by no means evidence that these other parameters are possible, let alone equally probable. There was no period during which any dice were being rolled or any cards were being dealt that then resulted in the initial conditions of the universe or in the universe itself. There was never a period when the initial conditions of the universe were free to vary.
For clarity, that is not a 1 with 123 zeros after it. It is a 1 with a quadragentillion zeros after it. It is literally not possible to show this number of zeros with current technology. And even if it could be shown, you would not have enough time to see all the zeros even if you lived the sum total of the number of years of every human who ever lived. These odds make the idea that the universe came into existence by random chance statistically impossible many times over.
It didn't come into existence by chance if it didn't come into existence at all. If the universe is all of space and time, then there was never a time when it didn't exist, even if time has not existed infinitely. The universe didn't come into existence at the Big Bang any more than a yardstick comes into existence at its first inch.
Which leads to one logical conclusion. There is a creator who created with intent.
Even if there was a creator, why would it need to have intent? Why couldn't the creator be some unconscious deterministic cause?
As the Bible states, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Plain and simple, right? If you agree, give us a thumbs up or let us know in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can watch more videos explaining different Bible topics. Now, proof number 2. Life demands a life giver.
Given that all of life is made of chemicals, why can't that life giver be chemistry?
Life simply does not come from inorganic compounds.
No, but it does come from organic compounds, and organic compounds come from inorganic chemicals. Organic compounds are just molecules built upon carbon atoms. I know the word organic makes it sound like it has to come from an organism, but that isn't the case.
Life only comes from pre-existing life.
So if life comes from God, does that mean that God is a life form? If that's the case, how do you define what a life form is? NASA's definition of life is a self-sustaining chemical system capable of Darwinian evolution. If it's true that life only ever comes from other life forms and life had to come from God, that would mean that God is a chemical system.
This is known as the law of biogenesis. The reality is, life as we know it had to originate from a pre-existing source of life.
Yes, it had to come from a pre-existing source of life, but that source of life was nucleotide chains. It wasn't a timeless, spaceless, disembodied mind.
One of the very names God uses for himself is the YHWH, of which the exact pronunciation has been lost. Yet some pronounce it Yahweh or Jehovah or Yahovah. Regardless of the exact pronunciation, what is important is what his name means. His name translates to the self-existent one, or the eternal.
I've never heard that definition before. If God can be self-existent, why can't the universe? And what do you mean by eternal? Does that mean that he has existed for infinite time? If it does, how could that be if there hasn't been infinite time?
In other words, God alone has life inherent and has existed from eternity.
That makes it sound like he has existed for infinite time. But if God has existed for infinite time, then so has the universe, because the universe is the space-time continuum. Whenever there is time, there is a universe by definition. If there has been an eternity for God to exist in, then the universe also has to be eternal and thus would not need a creator.
It is God who has given life to mankind, the animals, and all living matter. Genesis 2 verse 7 says, "The Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being." Proof number 3. Laws demand a lawgiver.
The laws of physics don't. As Bertrand Russell said, the laws of physics are not behests. They are not commands that matter and energy obey. They are simply descriptions of what they regularly do.
Science exists because scientists understand that the universe operates in an orderly manner according to laws.
No, that's not why science exists. Science infers the existence of laws from the evidence. It does not presuppose their existence, and doing science does not require the existence of laws. You have to use science first before you can even infer that there are laws. Laws are not a prerequisite for doing science. Doing science is a prerequisite for discovering laws.
The laws of physics, of gravity and motion, the laws of biology, and the laws of chemistry, to name a few. These are not to mention spiritual laws that go beyond the physical.
What the fuck are spiritual laws?
There are verifiable spiritual laws that regulate human relationships and the relationship between mankind and his creator. When followed, these laws bring joy and happiness, and when broken, they bring pain and suffering. But how did all these laws originate?
Wait, what laws are guaranteed to bring happiness if followed, and guaranteed to bring suffering if they aren't?
Where did they come from? Who set them in motion?
As best as we can tell, there was never a time when the laws of physics were ever broken, so they didn't come from anywhere. They have always existed in the sense that there was never a time when they didn't. If there are laws that guarantee happiness if followed, and guaranteed misery if disobeyed, which there aren't, then they could easily be the product of how our brains evolved.
Isaiah 33 verse 22 states simply, "The Lord is our lawgiver." And James 4 verse 12 says, "There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy."
I don't think the authors of the Bible and the scientists who discovered the laws of physics had the same definition of law in mind.
The fact that our world, both physically and spiritually, is ordered by certain irrefutable laws demands the existence of a supreme lawgiver.
The idea that the physical regularities described by the laws of physics need to be consciously applied assumes that the default state of reality is chaos and that order can only be deliberately imposed. This is an entirely baseless assumption.
Proof 4. Design demands a designer.
Again, you're skipping a step in the argument. In order to use that premise, you have to show that nature has design in it to begin with.
Evidence of design is found throughout the universe, from the quantum level to the largest scale of the entire cosmos, from the fascinating DNA molecule to the awesome human body and mind.
Order and complexity can be seen, but order and complexity are not the same thing as design.
In the same way an archaeologist finds a shard of pottery or a wall of an ancient city and recognizes these were not just random accidents caused by nature over time, but rather designed with intent by human intellect.
That's only because we know that humans make those things. If we had never encountered pottery or stone walls or anything like them before, we would have absolutely no reason to believe that they were not the products of nature.
So we can look at the universe on the grandest scale and on the smallest scale, and see how it must have been designed with intent by supreme intellect.
How exactly? On what basis can we reasonably draw that inference?
Think about it. If an archaeologist found an ancient city and concluded it came together as a result of random chances of nature over millions or billions of years, he or she would be considered inept.
Again, that's because we know that humans make those things. And even if we didn't, it would be silly to infer that they came together by random forces of nature because the forces of nature don't behave randomly.
Proverbs 3:19 through 20 says, "The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding he established the heavens. By his knowledge the depths are broken up, and clouds drop down the dew." Proof 5. Fulfilled prophetic promises. No one is able to accurately predict the future, in part because there are so many variables we cannot know or control. However, one of supreme knowledge and power, who is not bound by time, and who can foresee and control world events, would be able to explain in detail future events. And that is exactly what God does through the Bible. Here are just some of the prophecies mentioned in the Bible that have either already come to pass or are in the process of coming to pass before our very eyes. Prophecies determining the outcome of the ancient cities of Tyre and Sidon.
The prophecy about Tyre did not come to pass. Ezekiel says that it would be so thoroughly destroyed that even its rubble would be cleared away. There are ruins of Tyre that are still standing right now. The prophecy about Sidon is so vague that it might as well say, bad things will happen in Sidon. In the ancient world, you could predict that plagues and bloodshed would happen anywhere, and you'd eventually be right.
Prophecies regarding King Cyrus and his favor toward the Israelites.
The prophecies about Cyrus were actually written after he freed the Israelites from Babylon.
Prophecies describing the tribes of Israel and how they would fare in our modern age.
The prophecies about the tribes of Israel in Genesis 49 and Deuteronomy 33 sound like horoscopes that are worded so broadly that no matter what happens, you can read them as having been fulfilled.
And many prophecies detail the rise and fall of nations, including the Roman Empire and its involvement in our world today.
The Roman Empire is not involved in our world today because it doesn't exist. The passages in Daniel and Revelation describe beasts that I guess the person who made this video is interpreting as representing something or someone that exists today.
These are just to name a few. The Creator God himself taunts and challenges the false gods, saying, "Present your case. Show us what will happen. Declare to us things to come. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that you are gods. Indeed, you are nothing, and your work is nothing."
That's true of every biblical prophecy.
He says, "I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure." Proof number 6, answered prayer. This is the first of 2 proofs that require a relationship with God. It is one of the most powerful personal proofs that God is real. We see incredible examples of prayer in the Bible, and Jesus taught us how to pray. You can watch our video about that here. Jesus said, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you." But asking in line with God's will is key for answered prayer.
If it's God's will, why would you have to pray for it? Won't God do his will whether you pray or not? This is like saying if you pray for rain, you'll get rain, but only if your prayer for rain is consistent with the meteorological patterns in your area. It's like saying that if you pray to win the lottery, you will always win as long as the number you are praying will win is the one that actually gets drawn.
Proof number 7, a way of life that works. And this is the second of 2 proofs that require a relationship with God. God, through his word, lays out a way of life that helps us avoid unnecessary pain, suffering, and troubles. It teaches us not to sin. It also teaches us the way to love, joy, peace, happiness, good health, and long life.
If that's the case, then why does anyone ever get disillusioned with religion and become atheist? The standard answer is that they were never really being a Christian correctly in the first place. This is a conveniently non-falsifiable claim. To everyone who helps me out on Patreon, you're a big help. Thanks so much.